Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Heavyweights Podcast. In one corner, standing at 6'3", 290 pounds of solid chicken wings, Dustin Urban. And this corner at 6'7", 280 pounds, the one, the only, Big Daddy Nick Klein.
Welcome back, everyone. We are on episode 16 of the Heavyweights Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick Klein. Joining me, as always, is Dustin Urban and Josh Reeves. We're going to start off on a little sad note this week. Unfortunately, yesterday at the age of 90, Don Shula, the NFL's all-time winningest coach with 347 wins, including the playoffs, passed away at his home down in Florida. He only had 2 losing seasons and over 20 years of coaching. It was in 76 and 88, and then obviously he's most known for is the undefeated season in 72. I mean, I went back and looked. I mean, he was still coaching well into the 90s. He coached till 95 with Marino. I mean, he rode Marino. They went to another Super Bowl with Marino. They got trounced, but
a lot of people don't know it. He was the Colts head coach with Johnny Unitas.
Yeah, he won the Baltimore Colts' only Super Bowl win, and then he was also the head coach when they won the NFL championship and then lost in Super Bowl III to Joe Namath and the Jets. So it's just unfortunate news, and condolences obviously go out to the family. It's just one of the best coaches we'll ever see passes away. I ended up looking up Bill Belichick's only 46 wins behind, and he's in third place. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how much longer Bill wants to keep going, just because he's pushing 70 already.
Right, but I mean, the way things are going, I mean, as long as health.
Does he want to? I think the biggest thing with him, does he want to strive to be better without Brady, just to prove that it was mostly his system and philosophies over there in New England?
From what I've read and heard in an interview from Belichick before, he's very interested in breaking Don Shula's record, because
he's already got the Super Bowl record, which is what you're going to be defined by anyway.
But he wants those all-time wins, yeah.
All right, so we'll move on. Thursday night, the NFL's coming out with a 3-hour-long special, which I can't believe it's gotten to this point. They're going to release the NFL schedule. I'm all for this, but I miss
3 hours?
3 hours long. It's going to be a special on NFL Network.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm all for it, but that's usually because they go team by team. I miss the days where, I act like this is forever ago, Twitter, the individual teams would come out, and then you just go on NFL.com and see. Because all I care about is the primetime matchups, and then you want to see, obviously, when your team's playing. Like, you already know your or who you're playing at this point. Yeah. With, you have your 2 games against each of your division opponents. You play one entire team in a division from each conference. So, I mean, you pretty much know, but to make it 3 hours long seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that's terrible. There's no way I'm fucking watching that.
I mean, the over-under, you're going to be bombarded with Tampa Bay games this year.
Yeah, probably 4.
Brady and Gronk, obviously. You're going to be shown, I'm just trying to think, teams like the Bengals will probably get 1 or 2 just because
they play the Dolphins, Burrow. So maybe depending on where that falls.
I see that more against the Steelers. You're obviously going to see Baltimore uptick. They got the MVP.
All I'm saying is depending on where that game falls in the season, maybe 2 is in, maybe he's not. So if it's towards the end of the year, maybe that becomes a primetime game.
Yeah, because they can flex
top
games
2
now.
Quarterbacks.
It needs more of a Thursday night game. I think that game would.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But moving on, we got some signing news. Andy Dalton signed a 1-year deal. $3 million can make up to $7 million
with incentives.
He went to the Dallas Cowboys. Good move for the Cowboys. Great. Probably one of the better backups in the league, having Andy Dalton there. I thought he was going to go somewhere he might compete for a starting job.
But I would say the best backup in the league at this point. I mean, he's staying. He has a home in Dallas. People forget he went to TCU.
Right.
He clearly. That's what's been weird about this quarterback market. There's not a lot of starting jobs out there. That's why you see Cam Newton still unsigned. Jameis, ended up taking a backup job. To people thinking that this has anything to do with Dak Prescott, though, and that they're going to roll in that route, you're absolutely insane.
No.
Dak's going to sign at the minimum of that deal, the franchise tag. He has until July if they don't work out a deal. He's going to be the quarterback. It's just people can calm down on this whole we're not paying him. Like, we've seen this play out before with other quarterbacks. There's so much language in there that they want to be the highest paid quarterback, which he wants to for this season, because at the end of next season, you've got to pay Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and they're going to trounce everybody.
If I'm the Cowboys, I'm getting that out of the way while it's still, like you said, he might be the top paid in the league this year, but he won't be going forward.
No, I mean, that's just how the quarterback – I mean, people forget Derek Carr was the highest paid quarterback for a while.
But even if you can get him for around $35 million a year, that will be a steal in 3 years.
The salary cap's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
So that deal's going to get done no matter how you spend it. It's to think that this even affects Dak is just asinine to me.
The only way it could possibly affect him is if they start playing hardball and then he starts missing games, or he starts playing hardball and starts missing games.
I don't even think it's going to come to that because he's a fourth-round draft pick that's not making shit for money.
Right.
He wants paid. He'll be paid this year. That's why, luckily he wasn't a first-rounder.
Yeah.
We'll get into those later. But one more free agent signing. We got Frank Gore going into his 16th year. He's got over 15,000 rushing yards. He announced earlier today that he's signing with the New York Jets. He's third all-time on the rushing list behind Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. He's actually at 98 total touchdowns, too. So he's 2 away from the 100 milestone, which he'd be the 7th or 8th running back on that list. It'll be his third season with with Gase. He played with Gase down in Miami and in San Francisco. So I have no problem with this. He's, great in the locker room. He works hard. I mean, the fact that he's still going for his 16th year is just unreal.
Yeah, he had his moments last year in Buffalo where he...
Yeah, the last few years.
Very good.
I mean, he still rushed for over 400 yards last year. So,
right.
I mean, he's a good change of pace back. He can come in and block. He can catch out of the backfield if he needs to. He can do anything you want.
Definitely caught me off guard with this signing, but I like it. I'm definitely interested in see how they're.
I mean, it's going to be a small deal. I didn't see the numbers. It's only going to be $3 or $4 million, so the Jets will be fine.
Yeah.
It brings in another a third down back. Even though Le'Veon's every down back, he can come in and do pass protection. He can do almost anything you want. So what we're going to move on to next, though, is the 2017 NFL Draft is up for their 5th-year option, which for people who don't know what that is. In 2011, when the CBA was reworked, they added a clause if you're a first-round draft pick, depending on where you were drafted and what position, the teams have the option to pick your fifth year option. Now, they have until the middle of May every year before you go into your 4th year. Last year, 17 players' options were picked up. This year, another 17. We haven't seen as much. It was 22 back in 2015.
Right.
What's weird this year is for the first time ever, 4 out of the top 5 picks all were declined. They didn't want their 5th-year option. So I figured we just run through this real quick.
Okay.
And we'll explain each of our quick thoughts. We won't take forever on it. First one to me, I think we should all agree, though. The Browns took Myles Garrett number 1 overall in 2017. This is a no-brainer. You pick it up for $15 million.
Yeah.
He's one of the best young pass rushers in the league.
And they're looking to get a deal done with him very soon.
Oh, they're going to have to. I mean, he is one of the best players in the league. I know we went through the whole helmet fiasco behind us. He is a dominant force.
On and off the field, other than that, he's been a model citizen for the Browns. So they're looking, from what I read, to give him $25 million a year, possibly.
Deserves it. The guy's probably one of the best defenses in football.
Yeah.
But
let's move on to
my boy,
Trash Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky was taken 2 overall. The Bears traded up with the 49ers and took Trubisky. Because he's a quarterback and he was a top 10 pick, they'd owe him $24 million next year. That's an easy decision.
There was no way they were ever going to pay him that.
Yeah, I knew Ryan Pace and Nagy were convinced that, he's this guy. It's looking like more and more Foles is going to be the day one starter up there.
Yeah.
All right, so the 3rd overall pick, 49ers, we've seen this time and time again. They load up on the D-line. Solomon Thomas, who was considered the 2nd best, pass rusher in this draft, or down lineman out of Stanford. $13 million, never really produced at that top 5 pick level.
Yeah.
He's a very solid player, but he wasn't worth even a top 10, maybe even a first-round pick.
No, he's about a $5-6 million a year guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to get paid.
Player.
Okay, we'll go. Jaguars were up next. They got Leonard Fournette's option. I was a little surprised by this, just because you're not really risking much because he is a running back. But Leonard Fournette, they turned down his 5th-year deal.
Yeah, he's made a lot of waves there in his years being there, and they've just never seemed to be able to really get on the same page. So, doesn't surprise. I mean, he's a great back. So
he had a great year last year.
For Jacksonville to not want to pick him up, that just, to me, it says more about Jacksonville than him. Yeah, I bet he's ecstatic.
Yeah, he'll get a 2 to 3 year deal. They're just basically cleaning house, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They're going to try to tank for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields next year.
They should.
Let's move on to the next pick.
All right, number 5, we got the Titans with wide receiver Corey Davis. They declined his $15 million, a little bit over $15 million option. Good move.
Former receiver out of Central Michigan, looked like he was going to be a steal.
He's been trash so far.
outside of his second year when they made the playoffs, he had that good playoff game when they actually went in. I can't remember. They beat the Chiefs, right?
When they came back from like 21 down.
Yeah, Davis, it just never found an option. Wasn't even playing at times last year behind A.J. Brown and a few other guys. So I'm not surprised here. You have to play receivers, unfortunately, a lot more money just because of the premium, because it's the average of the average salary, I think, of the top 15 players at that position.
Yeah.
Or maybe even top 5. It might be a little less, but that's a no-brainer. Then we're going to get into, finally, people that have been picked up. The Jets took Jamal Adams, probably the best young safety in the league. Can play in the box, can do almost anything you ask. Easy option for being a safety at only $9 million to pick up. He is going to get paid $80 million plus deal here soon, and it's a no-brainer.
You got to sign him now.
You have to do something there.
Yeah, to me, he's the best safety in the game right now.
Yeah, the next one, though, is a little interesting to me. The Chargers took Mike Williams, the receiver out of Clemson. Can take the edge off, but hasn't been able to stay healthy. Just to pick up, it's 15.7. Okay, so it's a 1-year deal. That's fine, but it doesn't seem like he was worth that top pick.
I don't know. I feel like you could sign 2 players that get around that kind of production with that same money.
Him being 6'4", 6'5", with that blazing speed, it is very hard to find that. But I don't
know.
He started to shine a little bit this year, but he's still ain't worth the top 7 pick in that draft.
So, that's the whole point of this 5th year. You get him for 1 more year. You're paying him all that right away. They've got the salary cap next year, because then the year after that, they're going to have to pick up Derwin James, and they're going to have to pay him quite a bit of money.
And Bosa probably, too.
And Bosa's going to have to be paid. They're going to get into some... The same thing the Colts have done. They drafted really well the last few years. I'm not saying Mike Williams is a complete bust. He is going to play in this league for a long time.
He's had his moments, for sure.
But he's just... This wide receiver class, people forget, was supposed to be a very talented group.
Right.
It really hasn't panned out.
Yeah.
All right, so probably the best offensive player in this draft came off... Well, no, I'm lying there.
Best skills position player.
Position player. The Panthers took Christian McCaffrey there. A lot of people were concerned that they were taking him out of Stanford that high. You know what? He's the best running back in this class, and it hasn't been close.
Yeah, he's been dynamic.
They were going to pick up his option, but he got that 4-year, $64 million extension.
Yeah, he's going to be with the Panthers for a long time. But then we'll move to the worst skills position player probably in
the top 10 at least.
Yeah, in my eyes, he's the worst one in the whole draft. At 9, the Bengals picked John Ross, wide receiver. They declined his $15 million option. He just really hasn't shown you much. I think he's only caught like 2 or 3 touchdowns in his whole
career. The first
career.
game this past season, he had 2 touchdowns and over 150 yards.
And those were his first 2 touchdowns ever?
Yeah, and then the next week he caught another touchdown against San Francisco, and then got hurt, had a nagging ankle injury. The whole point of the reason why he was taken so high, he ran that 4.24.
Yeah.
Washington had just gone under Chris Peterson to the college football playoffs, and he was an all-around receiver that could return punts, return kicks, and they thought, Tyler Boyd had a disappointing rookie season. They needed someone to go with A.J. Green. He was never it, though.
Yeah.
Now we got some trades. The Bills were sitting there at 10. They traded back, and probably it's going to go down as one of the easiest decisions to trade up this far and give up this much. The Chiefs took Patrick Mahomes. We don't need to really talk about this, do we?
No.
You're going to pay the dude.
You probably want to, quadruple that salary or triple it?
Yeah, he's going to get $24 million next year. I don't think it's going to get to his 5th-year option, but they're going to pay him.
Yeah.
They're just doing that just in case they can't figure out
so they don't have to franchise tag him or whatever.
Well, he'd be an impending free agent. I don't think you get a franchise tag him if you decline the 5th-year option.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how that worked.
Oh.
So the Saints come up. They're at 11. They go Marshawn Lattimore. Easy decision.
Yeah, he's been good.
Been one All-Pro team, a couple Pro Bowls. Then the Texans traded up at the next spot, and they took Deshaun Watson.
Great pick.
You can see the difference. Patrick would have made $24 million. Deshaun would have made $17. Same positions, because the top 10 gets paid different than the rest of the first round, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
So that's another easy decision. He's about to get paid. Now we're going to start getting into some guys you're like, wait, who are they?
Yeah, at 13, we had the Cardinals going with Hassan Riddick, linebacker. They declined that. He just really hasn't ever really.
He's never really found a position. They've switched the defenses a few times. He was he a down lineman? Was he an outside linebacker coming out of Temple? Just never really produced. We'll go to the next. I was surprised about this when the Eagles picked up Derek Barnett's 5th-year option. He hasn't been terrible. But
he had his best year last year, I think.
Was it 12 sacks last year? Well, he's about to get a lot less double teams, too, because they've loaded up. So, $10 million, you can't really beat it.
I like it.
Okay. Well, this one intrigued me. The Colts were sitting there at 15. Malik Hooker was projected top 5 almost the whole way up till April with the draft. He had all the talent in the world. He didn't have injury history then. Like, he was coming off an injury his last year at Ohio State. But you're like, oh, they just got one of the best players in the draft to fall, kind of like Derwin James did 2 years ago. They only had a $6.8 million fifth-year option on him because he plays safety, and they declined it.
See, that's what surprises me. It was only 6.8. Not. I know how it works, but I'm saying the fact that it was that low, they didn't pick it up.
Yeah, you've had some teams, the 49ers have been known to do that, not pick up the fifth-year option and turn around and re-sign that player. Lincoln Tomlinson, their first-round guard a few years ago, they declined his option and ended up signing him to a 3-year extension after week 3 the next year. So, I mean, if now more than ever, it's a make-or-break time for Malik Hooker.
For sure.
I would have picked it up just because you're not really losing much there. I get you tried to take his replacement this year in the 3rd round and Justin Blackmon. So
yeah, at 16 we had the Ravens. They had Marlon Humphrey, cornerback. They picked up his option, $10 million a year.
Kind of a no-brainer there.
Yeah.
Too.
At 17 we had Jonathan Allen, defensive lineman. He is on the Redskins. He picked up.
I can't believe he fell that far. I think you and I were like.
It's a solid pick there. I mean, he
had that shoulder issue coming out. That's why he fell.
But now looks really good with.
He's a good role. I mean, they've done what the 49ers have done.
Right.
They have loaded up completely. They're not going anywhere.
If they can figure out to keep guys healthy, they might be dangerous down the line. Then at 18, we had the Titans again. Adoree Jackson, cornerback. They picked up his $10 million option. He's middle of the road corner in the league. He's had his moments.
Great rookie year, but can get burnt bad and quick.
And he's a good kick returner, but that's the height. That's the height. Yeah, not for a kick returner. That's the height of his game. Really.
Quick receivers destroy him deep. T.Y. Hilton usually eats him alive. I've watched it happen time and time again. But I mean, corner's a hard position to find in this league, so they just lost Logan Ryan, they've lost Butler, so you've got to keep someone around for at least another couple of years.
For sure.
The Bucs were up at 19. They took O.J. Howard, who had that great college football playoff with Alabama when they won the national title. They picked up his $6 million option. He found himself in Arians' doghouse last year. He's going to be the backup behind Gronk, but if there's a time to learn, you can play 2 years behind Gronk, and maybe they extend you more.
Hopefully.
So, I mean, I'm not
if he's not traded.
Yeah. The Broncos were up next. They took an offensive tackle, so it's kind of weird. You're used to seeing, offensive linemen just taken so early, especially left tackles in this league because they're protecting the blind side. Bowles was the first one taken off the board. I want to say Bowles was either Boise State or Utah. I can't remember. But he can't keep his hands clean. He usually leads the league every year in holding calls. Easy decision to not extend him. Yeah. If they bump him down into guard, maybe he's a little better, but I just don't see it right now.
Yeah, I don't know about him, but 21, we got the Lions. They had Gerard Davis, linebacker. They declined his option, $10 million.
Out of Cal, I believe.
Yeah,
he had a pretty good solid
rookie year just fell off. The system didn't work.
Yeah. 22, we got the Falcons. They had Charles Harris.
Nope.
Defensive end.
What the fuck that is.
God damn it.
He had his best season last year. I think he had 8 sacks, but he's just
not enough to pick up a $10 million option.
They thought it was going to be another Vic Beasley type, pick. Just didn't happen. Probably the best tight end in this class. Well,
for sure. Well,
when
he's healthy.
Yeah. Evan Ingram. Yeah. I mean, he came on this past year. They picked up his $6 million option.
I would for $6 million. Hey.
Yeah. Here's the Bill O'Brien dumb moment. The Raiders were up next, and they took Garrett Conley. All right, so you liked his potential if he could stay healthy coming out of college. I can't remember exactly where. I want to say Fresno State, and I'm probably wrong on that. He was traded in the offseason or right at the beginning of the season to the Houston Texans for a 3rd-round draft pick. All he had to do was pick up that $10 million option. So essentially, for like 10 to 12 games, Bill O'Brien wasted a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah.
That still doesn't piss me still not close to our top
I'm so glad he runs the Texans. All
right.
At 25, we have the Giants. Jabril Peppers, he was drafted by the Browns originally. He came over in the Odell Beckham trade, I believe.
Yes, he did.
And he's a safety, but he moves around all over the field. They exercised that $6.8
Not a Pro Bowl player, not an All-Pro, but
a solid player.
Very cheap deal.
If he probably was with the Browns, they probably declined it because he was not doing shit in Cleveland.
He was all right when they had Greg Williams that year.
He was only in the league for 2 years and got traded. And it was hard to find a spot for him. You knew that drafting him because he was all over the place at Michigan.
The Giants took him to fill that Landon Collins void. But then we have at 26, we had the Falcons again. Takarius McKinley, defensive end.
Takaris McKinley.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking $10 million option. They declined it.
I was a little surprised about that. I figured they would have given him a deal. They're still going to look to extend him or re-sign him throughout the season because he also had his best season last year. They're hoping, opposite Dante Fowler, who was the last top 5 pick to have his 5th-year option declined. We'll see. Just another guy that you're drafting on potential there, and that's why we know these are lottery picks. It's a scratch off. You don't know what you're exactly going to get because then the next pick, the Bills are on the clock. They did trade back. They're always going to regret not taking Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, but they did get Tre'Davious White, who was one of the best young corners in the game by far.
Yeah, I really like that.
To get him there at 27.
Yeah.
Then the Cowboys were on the clock. They took Taco Charlton.
They've already cut this man.
They cut him. Then the Dolphins picked him up. He had 5 sacks.
And then they cut him, and now he just signed with the Chiefs.
He was literally with no one, so there was not even an option for him to have a 5th-year option picked up.
Good luck, Taco. But at 29, we had the Browns. David Njoku
Did
tied
they trade
in.
back up in the first round for this pick?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
But they exercised his $6 million option. Not a terrible move.
And here comes the second best pass rusher in this draft.
At 30, we got the Steelers, T.J. Watt. Obviously, they exercised that. He was very, very close to being the defensive player of the year last year.
Him and Minka. I mean, that Steelers team's got a good nucleus back there.
Right.
So
I'm all for it. If Big Ben can come back, they're going to be dangerous. 31, we have the Redskins.
It was originally the 49ers, took Reuben Foster.
Right, and they traded him because he had some off-the-field issues.
They cut him, I thought.
They cut him.
They cut him because of the domestic violence.
Oh, did they?
And then he got to camp and looked good, and then tore his ACL.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised they declined it just because you don't know what he can do, but he's going to play in the league for a little while longer. And then the best offensive lineman in the first round, the only second one that went, Ryan Ramczyk, went to the Saints at 32. They picked up his option because, he kind of protects Drew Brees' blind side, so you kind of have to do that.
Yeah, you're going to need him.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where these go forward. It's always going to be weird to go back in a year. Next year we'll do the 2018 draft, and just to see, we'll have our notes back up with doing this podcast of like, oh shit, we were wrong here. Why did we see that? I mean, you're always going to have that. That's what draft analysts do. It's just, that was a down year. It was supposed to be a defensive heavy, pass rushing draft. It didn't really pan out outside of 2
pass
players.
rushers. I mean, later in the draft, we had a few decent pass rushers come out of nowhere, but
the thing you're going to take away from this draft is the trades, and you got 2 generational quarterback talents to go in the top 12 there that no one saw when Mitchell Trubisky was taken 7 and 9 spots ahead.
Even when it happened, I was like, what the fuck are the Bears doing? But I don't know, man.
I was laughing my ass off.
Let's get to those questions of the week, boys.
Let's do it.
Yeehaw! Damn about them questions of the week, Travis.
You have them questions, then we have them answers. It's time for the questions of the week.
All right, this week our biggest topic is power rankings after the draft. So we asked you guys at home, who are the top 5? Who you think are the top 5 teams in the NFL are? And we got a decent amount.
System,
yeah, we got a decent amount of responses. At 5, the highest or the most we had was the Bucks.
They came in at number 5.
They're going to be a decent team for sure. They got Brady, they got Gronk, they got. That offense is loaded. Can they sustain anything on defense will be the biggest question for them. And they started to come around last year towards the end of the year.
Number 1 rush defense in the NFL.
Yeah. And then at 4, we had the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be right up there. It's going to be them and the Bucs battling out for
their offensive line. I just don't like that they didn't get any help at receiver early when they could have. It's understandable, though.
What can you get out of Emmanuel Sanders? What does he have left?
I think with the attention that Michael Thomas brings, I think you're going to be fine there.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to get a speedster, like an old, we used to use Ted Ginn and players like that.
Right,
Maybe Brandon Cooks.
I get it.
At number 3, the 49ers were the next highest. So, I mean, this defending Super Bowl runner-up, usually that team doesn't do well the next season. They usually don't make the playoffs at all. It's just hard to see this team with how young they are. And
the way they're structured, man, it'll be a big surprise for me if they just fall
And if
off.
Garoppolo takes another step forward to show that he's even close to a top 10 quarterback, you're going to be even better.
Yeah, get Shanahan in there with him for another year of that offense. I think the sky's the limit.
You got two all-pro tackles now,
Right.
and McGlinchey's on that level. He's a French
Right.
Pro Bowler, but
Trent
Williams is one of the best left tackles we've seen in the last 15 years in the NFL.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball down everybody's throats.
And then number 2 is the general consensus you see almost anywhere you go, NFL.com, CBS, anybody, is the Baltimore Ravens. They had one of the best drafts. We saw they had 3 starters they drafted. They're going to impact their team right
Talk
away.
about team that's going to run the ball down your fucking throat.
Yeah.
Right here. They're going to be dangerous. And if people can't figure out a way to slow down Lamar Jackson, it's just going to be he'll be up there for MVP again next year.
All right. And then the consensus number 1 everywhere until somebody shows us how to stop Patrick Mahomes, because I don't think anybody's actually even come up with the formula yet.
Unless you can just dislocate his kneecap. That's the only way to stop him.
You haven't seen him have a bad game yet. The Chiefs come in at number 1, and that's not going to change until, even Belichick hasn't been able to.
They brought most of their players back anyway, so
Correct.
they're going to be dangerous.
They let Colquitt go, their punter. That's and he'd been there for 17 years.
Yeah.
So,
But
right on.
we're going to kick it to our sponsor here.
We'll be right back after the break, y'all.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let us explain.
It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms.
You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Now download the free Anchor app and go to anchor.fm to get started.
And make sure you listen to the Heavyweights podcast. All right, to start off these power rankings, we're going to start down at the bottom here, 32.
Yeah, because I really don't want to talk about these teams for that long.
We came up with a point system again. We all 3 chimed in. Jaguars started off at 32. I think everybody in this room thinks they're going to be major in the running for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think it's them and the Panthers. The Panthers had a little bit of a draft. I don't. It's nothing against what the Jaguars did. I'm not sold on Laviska Shenault in the second round.
Yeah.
You're going into the season with a worse quarterback than the Panthers, and you've shown that you're clearing house. Basically, Doug Marone's just sitting there you see that meme where that dog's on fire and saying, "I'm fine." That's Marone sitting in his office every day, looking at his roster
when am I going to
get
fired?
Shit. Yeah, he's gone. I know they brought down Gruden. I love Jay Gruden down there. Hopefully he can stay past Marone, because they're going to need they're either going to get Justin Fields, maybe Brock Purdy, or Trevor Lawrence next year. You've got to turn this around.
Maybe he'll end up being that coach. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So at 31, we got the Carolina Panthers, who in our last rankings, I think we had them last, at least who I had.
Yeah.
First team ever to take all defensive players in their draft.
I like what they did overall, but
they still have too many holes. Their offense, they did nothing for that offense. So you've got
Christian McCaffrey show.
The Christian McCaffrey show. Yeah. So, they didn't even get rid of Samuels. So.
But, we've seen the Christian McCaffrey show last year, and it's not going to win you that many games.
And that offensive line still has some major holes in it.
It's not good.
They got some speed burners, receivers with Samuel,
but
Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore.
But Teddy Bridgewater isn't a guy that stretches the field a lot.
No,
so
Bridgewater doesn't like to throw the ball downfield. He likes to dink and dunk, kind of like Jacoby Brissett.
Look for Christian McCaffrey to possibly have 100
Rule does
catches.
like running the RPO, which gives you that option with Bridgewater and McCaffrey, which could be lethal. But I don't see this being a great fit yet.
And they're in a tough division.
They're in the toughest division in football. So all right, with number 30, we got the Miami Dolphins. I had them right at this spot. You guys might have had them a little higher.
I had them a little higher, but I think Reeves.
I had them at 24.
You see, that's a little too high. I think I love Tua, but you're not playing him this year. You don't need to. I still think Austin Jackson shouldn't be your left tackle starter this year from day one. He's going to struggle. His footwork needs completely revamped.
Maybe you throw him out there and let him struggle, though.
But then you could ruin his... With offensive linemen, though, it's almost impossible to do that. You can destroy someone's career because you are going to get beat and hit every play, and you're just going to develop even more bad habits, and I don't like that.
Right.
Let him go in practice.
Don't let him turn into Eric Flowers. At 29, we went with the Redskins. They're going to have one of the best defensive fronts around. But what else do they have really offensively? They're gonna start Haskins, I assume, because I don't think Alex Smith's coming back. That leg injury, still a lot of questions there. And then they don't have a lot on offense. They got Scary Terry,
Adrian Peterson, and Darius Guice.
Right, but
Peterson's still on that roster.
Yeah, but is Guice gonna stay healthy?
If Guice can stay healthy, I love him there.
Right.
And Peterson's reliable. Just people don't talk about him enough.
Jay Gruden had some against him, man. I swear. But
you got rid of one of the best offensive linemen in the league. Brandon Scherf's gone after this season. You ain't going to be able to extend his ass.
Right. 28, we had the Bengals. They got Joe Burrow. They're going to roll. They're keeping A.J. Green for one more year. We'll see what they can do. They revamped that defense a little bit.
Yeah, they got some help on defense. They had to, but now you've got a receiving trio of A.J. Green, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd.
Another team
love it.
Another team that's in a really tough division, though. So
extremely tough division, but you know what? You got your piece of the future.
Right.
You know, Big Ben ain't going to be around forever. You don't know what Baker's going to be.
And Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback. So
they'll still probably beat the Browns in one game. They always do.
They usually beat the Steelers once too.
Right.
So that's fine. All right, so we'll move on. 27, we got the Detroit Lions. I think I had them around this spot or maybe a little higher.
I had them at 30.
29 per
Matthew Stafford's going to be back and healthy.
Yeah.
Dark horse there. This team could be completely improved if the defense can come around a little more, because people forget they also took DeAndre Swift in the second round to pair with Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
That's going to take the pressure off Johnson because he's struggled to stay healthy. But
Yeah,
they've got a dynamic 1-2 punch. I really love that with a healthy Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, their receivers on the outside are all right with Galladay and Jones Jr., but
Galladay is one of the most underrated receivers in the league.
I think that young tight end Hawkinson as well.
Yeah.
I think both those guys, neither one of them is a true number one to me. They're both like really good number two receivers. So
I think Galladay's number one.
Galladay's a true number one.
I don't think he is.
That's right. It's just another.
He disappears too
another
much
team.
for me.
Unfortunately, it's an extremely tough division.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the Bears. You know, you can say what you want, but they have one of the best defenses in the league, and they're still going.
Yeah.
You want to move on to 26?
Yeah, 26. We got the New York Jets. They revamped their offensive line a little bit.
Love their draft.
They drafted well. Can Sam Darnold take that next step and start winning you some games?
The entire direction of this team. If this team wins 5 games, it's because of Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
If this team competes for the division, it's because of Sam Darnold. You're giving him the pieces. This is the year you find out if he's worth it. If not, unfortunately, you wasted an entire 3 years and you gave up a couple solid draft picks that you weren't able to, get anything for. But just for now, I'm still not sold on it, so I'm going to keep him a little lower because he makes too many questionable decisions when he's throwing, and they have no help at receiver. They're going to expect a lot out of Denzel Mims out of his rookie.
Right. If he's not like a top fucking receiver in this league, they still don't have a number one, really, to me.
I mean, he just needs to be at least a solid number 2 in this league to give them something.
That's what I'm saying, though. They don't have anything to throw.
He's got to produce basically like A.J. Brown did last year when he came down into Tennessee.
Right.
He's got to be able to do something.
Hopefully, I think they're more open to ground and pound that football.
Yeah, but at 25, we're going to stay with another team that's going to pound the football next year, hopefully, and stay in New York, the New York Giants. Their defense is still kind of shaky to me personally, but they went and got an offensive tackle, their offensive tackle of the future with that 4th pick.
Yeah, with Adrian Thomas.
And they better fucking lean heavily on Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, they got Xavier McKinney, too, in the 2nd round, so, I mean, I'm not going to be mad about that.
Any receivers help out Daniel at all?
No, they didn't. I don't even think they drafted one,
I don't
to be
think
honest.
so either.
They did not take a receiver.
Yeah.
So
Which, I mean, they have a bunch of number 2s.
True.
As well. They're another team to me.
Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard,
Right.
Evan Ingram with the main tight end.
Yeah, but they have a bunch of number 2s to me. But I don't know. At 24, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Great defense all around at every level. They're very skilled.
Had the potential to be extremely good on defense.
Offensively, you're losing that Melvin Gordon. He went to the Broncos, so you're losing that 1-2 punch with him and Austin Eckler. You still have Keenan Allen, and you still have Mike Williams. We talked about him earlier.
And Hunter Henry's back. They did take Joshua Kelly, the running back out of UCLA, who will be a good style fit. He's a downhill runner.
Ran for over 100 yards at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
He's decent, but I don't know. Will they play Herbert week 1? That's the biggest question for the Chargers, I guess.
You know what you're going to get already from Tyrod Taylor.
I'm just saying, do they? You know,
you're going to have to.
It's a big question for me.
I mean, you're young for the most part outside of, Chris Harris.
Yeah.
Your defense is extremely young. Rely on that and start building for the future on offense in next year's draft.
Yeah.
And he has weapons he can learn from.
He's got some decent weapons now that, like, he can grow from that, like like you're saying. Keenan Allen.
Yeah, throw Sam Darnold in that team. Shit, he might be able to flourish, but the Jets, Jets ain't doing shit for him.
Again. All right, let's move on to the 2013 Chicago Bears.
Another team that ain't doing shit for their quarterback.
Quarterback.
I mean, they at least have a true number one wide receiver. We can all say that.
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he's my number 2 for me.
That's why you're a Jets fan.
Right, as I'll say.
Trubisky's obviously not the answer. Maybe Foles can get you to 8 to 10 wins this year because your defense is going to be one of the
10?
best.
That team ain't going to win 6.
That team won 13 games with Trubisky at quarterback, buddy.
And that team won 8 games last year with Trubisky.
Foles is better than Trubisky.
Not by much, if any.
Doesn't take much to be better than him, but he's got a stronger arm and makes better decisions.
I mean, if he's not throwing the ball, if they can at least get the ball to the receivers instead of throwing it 15 yards past them or 15 yards to the ground in front
I just
of them.
don't think they have the help on offense to even get.
It's going to start with the offensive line here.
Yeah.
They have, a couple weapons at receiver. They've got a really good backfield. Can you protect Nick Foles?
Will they run the ball better this year is going to be...
David Montgomery is a great back. I get that people are upset that they got rid of Jordan Howard.
But they had a terrible offensive line, man. I think that's a lot of the reasons.
But Montgomery's great. And Tyreek Cohen, if you use him in the right way, is a Darren Sproles type player.
I can't believe they didn't use him hardly at all.
No, it just completely dipped. I think it's because their offensive line was so shaky that, Cohen needs space, and they weren't creating space.
Right, they weren't hitting him out in the flats either or nothing.
Yeah, so they're hoping, if Eddie can do something at left tackle, maybe bump him down at a guard or something.
I don't know.
It's why these teams are there. If they could figure out one or two things, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears started off 4 or 5-0 next year because their defense can be that good. So we'll move on to 22. I think this is a little low for me just because the head coach, the New England pick.
Where the fuck did you put them at?
I put them at 30 like an idiot.
I put them at 30.
You had them at 30?
Yeah.
So I had them at 17. You had them right around that, correct?
I believe so. I had the Patriots at 20.
Okay.
Let me defend this real fast.
Fucking defend the fuck out of it. Because do you have them worse than the Dolphins and the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the Jets at 20.
Dude, what the fuck?
Now who's getting mad every week?
I'm based on quarterback play right now because we don't know about Jarrett Stidham yet. And now this team, I had him at 13. I moved him down. I had my.
How'd they go to fucking 30 from 13?
The Steelers are going to make the playoffs or be in the running for Trevor Lawrence. It's one of those two.
They won't be in the running for Trevor Lawrence.
And what I've read from the reports and all, they like Stidham. They think he's improved, but I just got to see how he's going to play.
I mean, I think they'll win like 7 to 9 games, personally.
I think they could be.
But that's not 30.
Did we forget how good their defense was last year?
Right, they were the top defense.
But they lost a lot of pieces.
They were historically...
Belichick's shown time and time again, like players like Kyle Van Noy don't deserve to be paid 60. Those are plug and play. They still have the AFC or the NFL Defensive Player of the Year back there.
Yeah, cornerback.
Gilmore's going to shut everybody down still.
They drafted a safety.
Yeah.
Kyle
Duggar. Yeah, buddy.
They're coming. Dude, that defense is going to be just as good if
Sony Michel can run a little better, he's just not good at making people miss right now.
I'm just based off the draft and the free agency as of right now. This ain't...
I get that, but who's their head coach?
The GOAT.
Yeah.
And all your fans, I know you hate me saying that, but goddamn that.
There was years that people would go in that shoeless Dolphins team would be washed up, Marino was getting hurt, he was over the hill, he didn't have any weapons, and they still weren't having losing records.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to make the Bill Belichick be this bad, and it's not this year, bud. This team isn't that bad. If anything, they were limited because of Tom Brady last year.
I'm not saying they're that bad. I'm just saying...
if you put them at 30, you have to say
you're saying they're one of the worst teams in the league by far if you're putting them at 30.
Yeah, you're
saying... right now, yeah.
I think... All right. Before I snap, let's go to 21.
All right, 21, we got the Los Angeles Rams. Another team we're figuring to take a step back. Personally, I think they will.
I had them a little higher.
I had...
No, I don't. Right now, they've traded.
Yeah, I'm at 25.
All right, they've traded. I mean,
we're at 21, so that's about right.
Whatever.
I'm the one who had them high.
I'm not that sold on Jared Goff. I'm not saying he's not decent, but he's not fucking.
To me, Sean McVay is still the quarterback whisperer.
Right. He's not a top 10 quarterback in this league to me.
But you got rid of Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Couldn't stay healthy. You got rid of Todd Gurley. Couldn't stay healthy.
Lost Littleton.
So what'd you do in the draft? You went and got Cam Akers, who's a younger, quicker version of Todd Gurley. He's not as good as a runner by any means, but he is going to be able to start day one.
And you got Van Jefferson.
Then you got Van Jefferson, who can stretch the field. He's the exact same type of receiver that Brandon Cooks is, to pair with your already good receiving core.
Right.
I think they're going to take a step forward again, which people forget. Last year, they would have gotten to the playoffs with the new format coming in, and they were rolling late.
Yeah, they went 9.
Gurley was starting to get going, which I get he's not there, but the whole team, like Goff was playing better because he shot out of the gate just, I think, flustered. It's one of those teams that, took a step back when they lost the Super Bowl, had to refine everything, and people are still trying to copy what, McVay does out there.
My reason I have them falling is because I have the Cardinals rising. So somebody's got to be worse than that division to me.
It's another division where you just look at it, you're like,
right,
shit.
holy shit.
Yeah.
They every team could split they could split the games in the division.
Yeah.
But we'll go to 20 here. We got the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is right where they should be. Their defense has a lot of questions. The offense, they got 11 first-round draft picks, but outside of Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, they got some.
They could have had 12. They could have taken another receiver.
They got Ridley. He's not bad either, but
Ridley's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's pretty good receiver. But
can they get a pass rushing help? Matt Ryan was sacked his career high like 50-some times last year.
Can you split the games with the Saints and the Bucks? That's going to be the big question.
They went into New Orleans last year and pretty much shocked everybody. We thought they were dead to the world.
They beat their ass?
Yeah.
Drew Brees' first game back off injury.
And then they beat the 49ers later in the season, too. That was also the Julio Jones show, if anybody watched that game.
Man.
I traded that motherfucker.
Julio Jones can go off at any given time.
He personally thought that everybody was talking about Michael Thomas and no one was ever giving him credit the last 2 years. He's like, hey, I'm still playing.
I'm
still 1,300 yards or so.
They're still loaded. Matt Ryan, sneakily good season last year. To say that he should have never been MVP, he was the MVP of the year.
Did you watch, anybody that says that, did you watch that fucking season?
Yeah,
he played from behind a lot, though, too.
Okay, and they won. They won the games, though.
Are you talking about? He's talking about this past year. You're talking about the
MVP
season. You're talking about two different things.
Okay.
I'm not talking to MVP.
I would have liked to have seen a different corner there. It's nothing against AJ Terrell. He's shown flashes, but he also got his ass whooped in the college football playoffs pretty bad.
Yeah. He was going against some really good receivers, though.
I know some that were taken after him.
Right.
So.
At 19, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Another team. We'll see if their new stadium's ready. But
love their new stadium.
They're going to be a middle-of-the-road team to me. Their second first-round pick was a big question. A lot of people are questioning it. But can they take another team that needs to take that next step? I don't think they will.
And it's where Carr takes them, to be honest. And then can they get some production? They went and drafted 3 receivers. Can anybody help out Tyrell Williams and Darren Waller?
Right.
So that's cool. 18, we got the Cleveland Browns.
Talk about a team that needs to take the next step.
Yeah.
And this solely falls on, I will preach to the day I die. Year 3, you should know, will know what you have in your quarterback. Everybody got on the Baker hype train early. He struggled with, completion percentage and ratings in his rookie year, but, he took a step back last year with the weapons.
Yeah.
But they've given him every chance in the world to succeed this year.
I was about to say, most of his problems were not getting the ball out on time and, his
pretty bad offensive line.
Well, now you got a decent offensive line. And
the defense should be a little better next year, too.
And you still got those weapons. We're going to find, like you said earlier, we're going to find out who the real Baker Mayfield is this year and if he's going to be their quarterback going forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're a top team in the league if Baker comes out and can at least
manage games,
get closer to that 27. He's going to throw some interceptions no matter what. He's a gambler. We are going to see him throw probably 14 to 18 interceptions this year, but can he at least throw almost 30 touchdowns or account for over 30 touchdowns?
If he keeps it around 14, they're going to be really good.
Yeah, and if he can have over 30 total touchdowns, you're going to be good. It's just where is he at with his decision making?
Yeah.
That offense is going to be very good to watch.
Yeah.
It should be.
At 17, we got the Denver Broncos, another team. Can they take that next step? They lost a lot of close games early on in the year, and then they caught fire when they threw in Drew Lock at the end of the year. We'll see if he is the real deal. They got him some weapons. Another guy, no excuses. I mean, it's going to be a second year. They got tape on them. We'll see what happens. But that defense is loaded, and they're going to keep them in a lot of games.
Offense is loaded.
Well, but that defense is loaded, and they're going to keep them in a lot of games. So we'll see who the real Drew Lock is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they got the best receiver on my big board in the class in Judy.
Yeah,
turn around, second round, you still get Hamler out of Penn State. So every chance to succeed there. They like Lock for now. If not, trade away some pieces and get Aaron Rodgers next year. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Don't do that.
But it's just, this is why the quarterback free agent market was so weird this year, because you have so many teams that think they have their guy already.
Somebody's going to pick up Cam Newton, though, right?
Someone's going to have to.
Injury or...
I think teams are nervous right now based off of what are we getting? How healthy is he from the shoulder and ankle?
Yeah, once you can get.
But if he is that 2018 form, he was still playing at an elite level. I got an argument with someone the other day saying, like, trying to compare him to
until
Dalton.
he got hurt. Yeah,
trying to compare him to Andy Dalton, and I wanted to tell him to sit the fuck down.
When was Andy Dalton even considered for MVP?
2014 when they were 8-2, and then he got hurt and because McCarron had to come in.
Yeah.
That's when J.J. Watt called him Little Red Rider BB gun on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, because that's what he is.
We always choked in primetime games.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We're going to have a slew of AFC South teams. I just noticed that. 16, the Tennessee Titans.
A little low for me.
A little low.
Where the fuck did you have him?
I had him at 15, which means Reeves had him even lower.
I had him at 15.
Okay, so we're starting to get into all of our top 15, 16 teams.
Sure.
It's because of everything else that's coming
I
up.
had him lower.
I had him at 15.
Okay.
But, yeah.
That's right. Well, they came in. People are going to question the first-round draft pick, because you lost Conklin. You took Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia to be your right tackle, but you really didn't lose much. You lost Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler. You've got some pieces in there. You should be a ground and pound, and if Ryan Tannehill is what he was last year, a great game manager that can stretch the field on play action, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, this is the one team that I think could take the biggest step back that was out of the playoffs. If you shut that run game down and make Ryan Tannehill beat you, although he had a good year last year, I'm just personally not sold on him being as good as he was last year.
I think they're going to have one of the best second-round picks, though, in Christian Fulton out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. Move on. Next team, 15. You got the Houston Texans. I had them personally higher.
I had them at 8.
I had at 22.
What the fuck?
Oh, my God. Who's their quarterback, Reeves?
Again, Deshaun Watson.
This is the NFL, right?
Right.
Have you seen some of those rosters that elite quarterbacks have trotted out that have won games?
I don't think he's elite yet. Are
you serious?
I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't think he's elite.
Oh,
You just lost DeAndre Hopkins, okay?
Which
is all he had anyway, and you saw him running around for his life against the Bills in the playoffs.
Didn't you have him in your top 5 like 3 weeks ago?
And then I had the Texans. I had them falling around.
No. Not the Texans. Deshaun Watson. When we did our top 5 quarterbacks.
He's still on my top 5 quarterbacks.
How is he not fucking elite?
So how is that not elite?
It's 5 out of 5.
I'm just saying.
Your top 5 would be the elite NFL quarterbacks.
You said, come on, man.
I'm not saying he's elite right now. I mean, yes, he's progressed to be elite quarterback in this league, but I think he's a good quarterback, very good quarterback.
Elite means top 10 quarterbacks in the league to me.
Top 10?
Top 10.
I have mine in different tiers.
Okay, but elite.
The tiers I get, I would say for me, it's top 5 would be elite.
Okay, however you want to stretch
Pro
it.
Bowls would be top 10.
But you had Deshaun Watson, I'm pretty sure, in your top 5.
Yeah, but I think they took.
Then how is he? Where does your tier stop? Is it 2? Like,
I have elite, then great, then good.
okay, well, where does elite stop at? Like the
3.
second quarter? Okay,
3.
All right, well,
there can be more than 3 elite quarterbacks in the league.
all right,
And there is right now.
All right, right now we got the Texans at
It's their
15.
division.
It's their division to lose.
Yeah,
By
so
far,
right in
they are
that
the
band.
best team in this division because they have the best quarterback.
Yeah.
And until I see something different, when you have an all-pro left tackle there, you don't have DeAndre Hopkins anymore. I get it, but you've got one of the best defensive players in the league still because J.J. Watt's still good. I mean, can he stay healthy for the full season? Hell no.
And if anything, we know as Colts fans, if you have the best quarterback in the division, it doesn't really matter about some of the pieces.
Especially if
around
Tennessee takes a step back and Phillip Rivers looks like trash.
Yeah.
The Texans will run away from
right.
with the entire. All right, move on to 14. Colts coming in at 14. I understand why. I really do. I had them at 18 in my personal rankings. They've got a very, very good young nucleus. I like what they did in the draft. They're going to be able to run the ball better. But Phillip Rivers wasn't even a top 12 quarterback in the league last year. He just took us. Granted, he got hit more, and he's going to play behind one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best.
He was only sacked like 4 more times than Jacoby Brissett last year. So, I don't think he's going to get hit a lot less.
He's going to get hit a lot less.
I don't know.
All the way to 11.
He gets the ball out. Jacoby holds on to the ball a little too long.
That's fine. But it's the Colts are going to be right at their fringe playoff team.
They have a good enough roster without a good quarterback to win 8 to 10 games.
Right. I have them being.
It all depends on how the games fall.
Yeah,
we see it every year. Some team.
Division.
I'm not against that. I think it's going to be a close division. I still think Houston's a little better right now. Just
as long as they don't fumble that game like they do every year to the Jaguars, I think they're going to be right there.
They haven't beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville since 2014, and I swear to God, if they can't do it this year, it's over.
And then 2 years ago, we got fucking smoked like 34-0 at home, damn near 34-7.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I almost quit being a Colts fan.
Let's move on to 13. Lucky number 13. Team that both of you had a little too high, in my opinion.
Well, that's fine.
I love this.
You both have them in your top 10.
Yeah, I got them at 9.
I had them at 17. The Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I love
all fine and dandy. That offensive line hopefully should be a little better. We all love Kyler Murray.
Still not great, though.
Yeah, we all love Kyler Murray. I love what they did in the draft. They got the best player to fall to them in Isaiah Simmons. Your defense was horrific last year, and you played from behind a lot. You're going to have to be able to run the ball, but you're going to be able to throw the ball because you've got a ridiculous receiving core now.
Right, and that's why I have him up there. Kyler Murray gets the ball in his hands quick, and he can extend plays. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be pretty good.
They were coming on strong last year, too.
My thing is they are in another team that's, I think it's the toughest division in football, or one of the toughest divisions.
Yeah,
Seahawks, 49ers,
we'll probably do a power rankings divisions here soon.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if it's not the toughest, it's the second toughest.
I think they're the toughest.
And that's the thing.
That could be 3 playoff teams right there.
The division games are going to mean so much to the Cardinals and the Rams, teams like them, where they fall. But then
see how he does in year 2. You guys are expecting a lot from a second quarterback.
Yeah.
You really are.
Hey, that's fine. Don't have as good of a year as you had last year with as shitty of a team.
I get it, but we've seen it before, though.
I'm not saying that.
We've seen it going both ways. We've seen the Baker Mayfields, but you've also seen Deshaun Watson. You've seen Cam Newton.
Right.
Everybody's like, there's no way Cam can do it again. No, he kept getting better.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying he did very well with a shitty-ass team last year. So give him some pieces and let's see what he can do.
Best receiver is Christian
That's all I'm saying. At 12, we have the Minnesota Vikings.
Christian Kirk. You realize Larry Fitzgerald was playing there last year?
Yeah, but Kirk was
led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns.
You better look some stats up, brother.
Kirk wasn't as good as you thought. He showed flashes, but wasn't nearly as good.
Larry Fitzgerald was a clear-cut number.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Team last year, bro.
Let's move on to 12.
All right, at 12, I said it already, but Minnesota Vikings, they had a great draft.
15 picks, I think.
Can
or 11.
Kirk Cousins win those big divisional games? He's still.
Hey, he won a playoff game, baby.
Yeah,
you like that?
But I don't give a fuck. I don't like him. But he's not that great to me. But can he beat the Packers? That's what it's going to come down to. Can he beat the Bears? Because he didn't beat the Bears last year either. So let's see what they can do.
He's good enough to get you to the playoffs and get you far into the playoffs.
One playoff game.
Let's hope they need Dalvin to stay healthy. They need Jefferson to take off all the pressure in the slot because Adam Thielen's got to be licking his lips because he's going to have the entire downfield open and Jefferson can do anything you want over the middle and on short routes.
They're going to be an interesting team for sure. Kyle Rudolph's still there. Can he have a better year?
Irv Smith Jr.
Irv Smith Jr. is going to take another step forward. Rudolph, he's going to be clutch when you need him to. I mean, look what he did in the playoff game.
Right.
The game
I just remember early in the year he was grumbling because he didn't get the ball. I had him fantasy.
I mean, everybody was.
But he didn't even have 100 yards receiving until like week 4 or 5. Like, he was pissed. But moving on, number 11 here, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They didn't have Big Ben last year. They really
that defense
rose to the occasion. Easily, Mike Tomlin could have been Coach of the Year with the job he did with the shit.
He was up for it and for a reason.
With the trash,
Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph are your quarterbacks. You got some problems.
With the crap he had at quarterback, that's what I was saying. He deserved for sure to have a look.
You've got some young pieces. You bring in Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame, too, in the second round. Love that pick.
If they can run the ball better than they ran it last year, they're going to be
Roethlisberger's back. They're going to be just fine. And did anybody watch that video that showed, like, practice? I don't think it was this year.
Oh, with the bags?
I shared it.
Yeah.
I had them at 6.
The quarterbacks are all moving around, and then Big Ben just lets them throw the bags and hit them.
If they can keep Big Ben from pissing off his wide receiver crew, they'll probably have a pretty good year.
Right on. Let's get the top 10.
We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They probably had the most additions or key additions this offseason on the offensive side of the ball. Tom Brady, they got Gronk to go with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
You got Tristan Wirfs there to protect your blind side.
They drafted a running back that's not terrible either, I believe.
They did.
Yeah. Their offense is going to be high octane, high power.
Because they had struggles in the secondary. They took Antoine Winfield, the safety out of Minnesota.
Good safety.
And then it was Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt that's going to be in every 1-2 punch in that backfield. The biggest thing is Brady what he was 4 years ago? No. But you know what he doesn't do? Turn the ball over 30-plus times.
Yeah, that's why their defense is ranked so low. I mean, I know they got after it after the pass.
But you could not run on them in the goal line.
But you throw 30 fucking interceptions, you're putting that defense at so many disadvantages. Yeah. But they're going to be right up there. At 9, we got the Green Bay Packers. We had them a little higher before the draft, but
I think we're just all pissed off because of what they did in the draft, too.
I'm not pissed off. It was the worst draft out of everyone. And if you don't go get your franchise quarterback help or your team help, fucking forget Aaron Rodgers. Go get some defensive players that are worth a fuck. And you didn't. So how are you going to stop the run? If you run up against San Francisco again this year, they're going to run for another fucking 300 yards. They're still running.
Their draft looked like it was going to be getting ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers, like looking towards the future.
Yeah,
and they picked up another running back. I won't understand.
AJ Dillon. I think
it's that kid, but
he might be really good, but.
Not with that. Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
I know.
That's what I'm saying. The running back was one of your least biggest needs. Quarterback was definitely your least biggest need. And you go back-to-back picks, first, second round, get that. You could have, if you're going to trade up, and you would have traded up in front of the Chargers instead, traded with the Patriots to go get a Kenneth Murray, I'd have been like, holy shit, you guys really did something. But you fucking went and got Jordan Love, which I get it. You're looking towards the future. But this team was a couple pieces away from the Super Bowl. Yeah. And now, to me, you fucking blew it. You blew it.
Lucky for them, they've still got Aaron Rodgers, man. He's still, you're going to be able to run the ball. Can the defense get a little better? The defense wasn't bad. They just got exposed because the defense played well and won them games early on in that season. I mean, do we remember the opening night with Green Bay and Chicago?
Yeah.
That was one of the most boring games of the year.
They fell off towards the end of the year.
Did they get any D-line help at all? I don't think so.
They signed one mediocre defensive lineman, but they were better than they had been in years past, like Nick was alluding to.
Yeah.
But they're
completely improved.
They're middle-of-the-road defense. They're not. When Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl,
they got Kamal Martin in the 5th round, who should be able to help you in the run game there. It's mostly going to play special teams when you're 5th round.
When they won that Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, they had a top 10 defense. They've never had one since.
Right on.
So,
all right. Well, let's get Urban's blood pressure down a little lower. With 8, we got the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't get how they're up here.
I had them at 9.
You got ready. They got Darius Slay in free agency.
Yeah. Where'd you have the Eagles?
I had them at 14.
I got them at 7.
I mean, they improved completely in free agency. Yes, we're going to sit there and say, why the hell did you take Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round? But I'm not worried about that. You got a questionable 1st-round pick, but he's going to be able to help you. I mean, you went and got, what's his name out of TCU?
Jalen
Reagor. Can he stay healthy? But Wentz can play at a high level.
Yeah, I don't hate Wentz. It's not Wentz that I'm worried about.
If their secondary's improved, they're one of the better teams. They're going to be better than the Packers if their secondary's improved.
Yeah.
That'd be a good game to watch.
All right, we'll move on to 7, who we actually have. No, it's the 3rd overall team in the AFC. So we got the Buffalo Bills coming in at 7. Josh Allen's got to be able to throw the ball a little better.
Make some better decisions for sure.
But they've gotten him some help. you have Stephon Diggs now, which, you gave up your first-round pick. You're going to bring in a rookie. Rookie receivers, you tend to struggle right
now
off
he's
the bat.
got that big receiver to throw to down the field. That's going to be a beautiful combination to me.
Yeah. And then you got A.J. Epinesa later on in the second round. You got another running back to pair with...
Zach Miles.
Yeah. He's a little slow. Then you got a speedster, Gabriel Davis, you took later, so maybe he'll be able to stretch the field. So... with their offseason additions, they're going to be just as good on defense. Their offensive line needs to take another step forward, but Allen,
they got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's going to be, can Allen throw better than 59% completion percentage?
Right.
That's
for
the
sure.
biggest thing.
For sure.
He's got to get rid of the ball a little quicker. We noticed that. He tries to do too much at times. We all saw that in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But he's still got that can of a fucking arm, and he can be good.
Yeah. Then we're going to move to number 6 here. We got the Dallas Cowboys. I loved everything they did this offseason personally. I really liked what they did for once. I'm a big Cowboys hater. I fucking hate them. But I really like what they did, man. And
the best thing they did is they got rid of Jason Garrett finally.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That started it all off for me.
I was
like, damn, they're not fucking around anymore.
Can McCarthy do anything? We'll see. But, everything else, I love what they did. It's just, for me, your roster should be top 5.
Right.
You got to win games for me to put you up at that level.
My thing is...
I have him at 10.
Run the damn ball. Feed that beast.
Yeah.
You've got the offensive weapons now to throw it, though, too.
Yeah.
Their offensive line took a step back, but they did get that center.
They're getting...
They're going to be all right.
That's going to take a while for
They're going to be all right.
You still got one of the best guards in the league, and Martin.
And their Frederick wasn't all the way back from that or whatever he had. I forget.
That blood disease.
He wasn't even 100% either last year. So
the fact that he was able to come back was
hats off to him. Bad motherfucker, tough guy. Had a great career. Hats off to you, man.
All right, let's get in the top 5.
All right, at 5 we got the Saints. They're going to be right there again. I think everybody thinks that it's going to be a battle between them and the Bucs for that division.
Yeah,
but it's going to. Who's going to win those matchups and who's going to beat the Falcons every time they play.
I'm just excited you get to see Brady and Breeze play off twice this year.
Right.
That's cool shit to me.
Who knows? Maybe they'll, they're in the same conference. Maybe they'll if they both make the playoffs, you might see them 3 times.
People would want that Super Bowl. They wanted that Breeze versus Brady Super Bowl for the almost.
Yeah. Well,
we get the next best thing, I guess.
Yeah, you never really got it. All right, so number 4, we talked about the 49ers. Everything they've done in the offseason. They had a solid draft. They revamped their D-line with Kinlaw in there, and, they traded for Trent Williams. You're going to be able to pound the ball.
If they continue to be the second best rushing team in the league.
Unless Garoppolo completely falls off the map, this team is going to
I don't see that happening.
They should just trade for Leonard Fournette.
I'm just saying, and that would be really good, but they got 2 running backs very cheap that they don't pay very much, and they run the ball very well. So why, they're not going to do that probably.
No, they won't, but...
We can get into our 3rd team, which wasn't in the question of the week for the fans. Seattle comes in at number 3.
A lot of people forget about
They're
them.
my top 5, and I think they're the best quarterback in the game.
They're
I had
2
them right at
for me.
3. They were 3 for me. I love Russell Wilson. I think he's going to be MVP next year.
You gave him another weapon with adding Greg Olsen. You give him a very solid red zone weapon and a third down guy.
Quietly they took a first-round draft pick, which is so rare for Pete Carroll.
Right.
And they've got another linebacker to pair with Bobby Wagner.
Right. And a speedster. He's not slow either.
Yeah. I don't understand Darrell Taylor, but they've had a quietly good offseason, and Russell Wilson's now the lead of that team. It's not the Legion of Boom anymore. We're way past that. The defense is good. It's not great. This is where Russell Wilson can take you, and he can go win you a Super Bowl. He is that good.
Yeah.
All right, so number 2, we'll go up with the number 1 seed from the AFC last year. They lost their first game to the Titans, just ran into a team that just played bully ball just like they do, and that's the Baltimore Ravens.
And personally, I think if they would have had Mark Ingram, it would have been a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, but now they've got fucking J.K. Dobbins to go with Mark Ingram.
And
they said Edwards is still there.
4 running backs next year. That running back committee.
No one's going to get tired.
They're gonna be the number 1 rushing team in the league again, no doubt.
Yeah.
So
do you think they beat 3,000 rushing yards?
It'll be close. Teams will eventually figure out how to slow him down. It's a defense.
Either they key in on that run, and Lamar Jackson has his best passing year of his career, and he had a very good second year passing.
Great year. He also doesn't take hits. People don't realize that. He avoids everything.
He's not.
So this whole, like you said earlier, he's a running quarterback. He's not, though. He doesn't take the beatings that you see.
I mean, all I was saying is he's a running quarterback. I'm not saying he takes a bunch of hits, but will he take the hit? That
potential is always going to be there,
right?
They got him some more weapons, and let's hope Miles Boykin, who they took last year, can take another step forward.
Did they have the best offseason? I think
top to bottom.
Yeah, I would.
I think they're my number one.
Yeah,
we'd have to do that rankings. I don't know.
They're top 3 for sure on their offseason.
Dallas and Ravens are easily
right. Them and.
Anybody who did a deal with Bill O'Brien had the best offseason.
It probably is in no specific order. Ravens, Cowboys, Cardinals. Best offseason. It probably is, man.
All right, then number 1 we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, until somebody beats them and figures out what the hell you can do to Patrick Mahomes, which personally I don't think is anything, especially with the weapons they got. They just got him an actual complete every down back too. So good luck.
Look the fuck
AFC.
out.
I'm sorry.
Those defense win it all again in my opinion.
We haven't seen a back-to-back though since 03 and 04.
And I think we're going to see it this year.
Man, that's tough.
I'm not going to sit here and say that. It's too early for me to say that the Chiefs are going to be the. It's matchups, man. In the playoffs, you know it as well as I do.
Both you get $100 safe bet, damn near.
Oh, if I had to put money on anybody, for sure, I'm putting it on the Chiefs.
Right.
It's just, it's too early for me to say who's going to.
Well, they got their franchise quarterback, so we're going to go to a quick lead-in, but we're going to do Would You Rather next, and you guys are going to be drafting your franchise quarterback.
Kick it, Travis.
Oh yeah, it's that time of week again where we throw out 2 blind stat lines and let you pick the player you would rather start. Would you rather?
Right on, thanks Travis. All right, so like I said before we got into the intro, you guys are going to draft your franchise quarterback because that's the biggest piece you need in the NFL nowadays. It's everything for a quarterback. So I pulled up some stats today. You guys are going to draft a quarterback that was drafted within the last 3 years that it has played, okay?
Okay.
So there's 3 of them. I took on-target completion percentage, which is if the ball is thrown within 5 yards of this player, it's considered on target because, you do have catch radiuses.
Obviously.
Interception percentage, which is percentage of their drop backs. How often are they throwing an interception? Their drop percentage, so every time they throw the ball, is one of their receivers or running backs dropping the ball. Yards per attempt, obviously that's self-explanatory. And then points per drive. So anytime the quarterback was on the field, I took the total number of points, total number of drives, and averaged that out. All right?
That's Trubisky.
So, player A, 71% on-target completion percentage. Is 29th in the league last year. Interception, 3.6. It was 30th in the league. Drop percentage by his teammates was actually 5th, which was one of the best in the league last year. And then yards per attempt, 6.6. Yards per attempt I always talk about, I told you got to be able to stretch the ball downfield. You can't do this dink and dunk bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay? So player B, 75.2% on-target percentage. It's 15th in the league last year. It's not too bad. Interception percentage, 2.9. It's 27th. Drop percentage by his teammates, 5.9. Not good. That was 25th in the league. Yards per attempt was 6.9. It's finished also 25th in the league. So he throws the ball down barely any farther. I would still consider that almost check down. Player C, his on-target percentage was 69.9%, 31st in the league. Interception percentage, 3.9, so a little higher than both players at 31st, which wasn't the worst in the league. Drop percentage, though, by teammates, 6% of his throws were dropped by teammates, which is unreal. That was 29th. Yards per attempt, 7.2, throws the ball down a little more downfield. That's 16th. Then points per drive, player A averaged 1.75, 22nd in the league. Player B, 1.29 points per drive. That was dead last in the league. And then player C was actually middle of the road. He generates a little more points, 1.95 points per drive.
Okay. Who
Talk it out.
Who you going with, Reeves?
A's out for me. I'm going to go with player B.
I'm going to go with C.
So you like the points, and then like I told you, yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Show you that this player can throw the ball down a little more.
Yeah,
you got to think too, like the drop percentage there. Yeah, 6%. That's bad.
That's what I'm going off of. I mean, on target kind of worries me a little bit, but
that's still going to go up. You think a little bit with
with those drops,
and the interception percentage also plays into that drop too. What if it was tipped?
Right.
And then he scores more than all of them.
I'm going to C.
You going B?
Yeah.
Right on. You took Sam Darnold, brother.
Who, me?
Yep.
Who did I take?
Baker.
Okay.
I'm not big.
No player A?
Trubisky?
Nah. His other homeboy. Daniel fucking Jones.
If you had fumbles in there, I'd have known.
I couldn't throw everything in there. It's just completely obvious. I'm hoping Baker can take that next step forward. That's why like some of these stats actually mean something. So like that drop percentage, when you think of the Giants, you're like, shit, they really don't have, they had Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any big names. I mean, Cody Latimer.
And I mean, Golden Tate he had that suspension, 4-game suspension at the start of the year.
Played well against the Patriots.
Sterling Shepard was out a few games with injury. Ingram was out a few games with injury. So
I still just don't think Daniel Jones is it, personally.
I don't either, but I mean, we're going to find out a lot about him this year, so that's fine.
For his sake, I hope I'm wrong, but
right, I don't want
him and Darnold I don't like. I mean, I really don't think they're it. I really love Darnold after his rookie year. He just took too much of a step back. Him and Baker did last year.
Personally, I'd 100% take Sam Darnold over Daniel Jones. I don't think you would disagree with
No, I would too. Completely. I personally think Daniel Jones is taken way too high. I was very adamant on Drew Lock being better than him during the draft last year.
Take your Jets fandom out of this. Who would you go, Daniel Jones or
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
Actually, just out of all three, like who would you...
If I knew the names, I would probably take Baker out of all of them, to be honest.
Darnold.
Not being a homer for Oklahoma.
No, I get that.
I'd go Darnold, Baker, Jones.
But I would agree that Darnold has the biggest upside out of all of them.
He does. He just didn't flash enough, and he had a shit ton of talent around him at USC.
But he's also the one that said he's seeing ghosts, so that kind of throws me.
They should have never played that, though.
Right.
I mean, that is one of the greatest defenses you'd ever seen to start a season. He does have no one to throw to.
Right. Yeah. But Casper isn't his friend.
Right on.
But let's crack open that six-pack, boys.
You already cracked open your beer, but yeah, we can.
This is the six-pack of the week.
All right, with the first question, what player has the most first-team All-Pro selections?
First-team All-Pro selections.
And it was 10. So
Offensive lineman?
I can't give you the position. It'll give it away.
Anthony Munoz, offensive tackle. Or is it Jonathan Ogden? Or would it be Larry Allen?
Are you going offensive line?
Yeah.
It's Jerry Rice.
Oh. Damn. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too, but...
Jerry Rice had 10. There was another guy from like the early days of football, like 50s, 60s, that had 10, so I just didn't include him. But
that's fine.
I didn't think you would guess him. I didn't even know his name, to be honest. But what quarterback has the most rushing yards in league history?
Is it Randall Cunningham still? Or Warren Moon?
It's Mike Vick.
Did he pass him?
Yeah. It was Steve Young. It was Steve Young.
And that's just me thinking my fucking way out of that shit. That should have been the easiest question I'd be giving.
It's going to be Lamar Jackson here in a few years.
Yeah, but
barring injury. But
yeah, but it also should have been the easiest question you've given me since we've started this damn podcast.
But that's fine. What quarterback has the most first-team All-Pro selections?
Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
As I say, either that, it would have been Brett Favre because it's Peyton was getting first-team All-Pros and Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls.
Yeah. I didn't figure you would miss that one. Who was the first player to be suspended for an entire season?
An entire season? Lawrence Taylor.
Paul Hornung.
No shit. The Golden Boy from Notre Dame for the Packers.
Yeah, he got suspended. Him and another player, I can't remember his name, but he got caught up a little bit afterwards. They were both the first players ever suspended for gambling as well. He got caught in the gambling.
Yeah.
But
right on.
Number 5, what quarterback has the most rushing touchdowns of all time?
See, and if you would have included this, it's not Mike Vick then. So, Randall Cunningham or Warren Moon.
Cam Newton.
All right, so why am I keep trying to convince myself going to the fucking 90s? Although those two were special. They didn't play in the league as long, though, because black quarterbacks weren't supposed to be around.
Cunningham had a lot longer NFL career than Warren Moon did. Warren Moon had so many years in the CFL.
I know.
But what player has the most sacks in an NFL game?
Derek Thomas.
Yep. 7.
Died too young. Just unreal for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Was that it?
Yep.
Right on. Well, I mean, that went quick, and I should have gotten more right than the one I got, 2 I got. But, all right, so thanks for joining us again. Next week's going to be a little different. You know, we're getting into the dog days of, like, the worst time of the NFL year.
Right.
But we're going to have the NFL schedule in the prime time to talk about.
We're going to go with our top 5 receivers in the league.
We want your guys' input on that, too.
Yeah, we'll put it up question of the week. Then we're going to kick it to Nick's favorite parts of the NFL and college football. He's going to take our early look at the 2001 draft and give you some players.
The 2021 draft.
2021 draft, I'm sorry. But give you some players you need to keep your eye on.
That you're here about. So other than that, stay safe. I know a lot of states are lifting their bans and everything. Yeah. Just be smart about everything. But
wear your mask, bitch.
I haven't seen you wear a mask once, but enjoy your week.